I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should consider one of the most affordable subcompact SUVs on the market. This is a 2025 Chevrolet Trax LT in Cypress Gray over jet black and yellow. Last year, the LT was a little bit harder to find on the lot because we got a lot of updates. This was a refresh. We also got an updated engine, which is from the Trailblazer. This year, you can now run E85, which you're not going to be able to do that with the competition. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to touch bases on some pros and cons as well. In the front, standard LED headlights and daytime runnings, over 7 inches of clearance, the bow tie being blacked out, and the badging is part of the blacked out package. We do have a few packages in vehicles like Honda. You have to go up tier base. You can't actually option features. You can do that with Chevy. And the cool thing about Chevy is each grille has a different pattern design. So going into the RS, we'll get the black grille in the unique badging, the Active, the black grille with the titanium chrome accents. Unfortunately, the con comes into play that it's only a front-wheel drive configuration on all 5 trims. You can't option all-wheel drive. But then when you're thinking about rival perspective, the prices are going to increase. The only vehicle that's going to be less than this will be the Hyundai Venue. But most of the vehicles in this category is going to have a CVT transmission. That's not going to be the case here. Now, we do have the 1.2-liter EcoTech 3-cylinder turbocharged that's producing 137 horsepower with 162 pound-feet of torque, but it's paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And it's going to achieve 28 mpgs for the city, 32 mpgs for the highway, with a combined at 30 mpg. So when I'm thinking about as an all-round package, yeah, it will be a few grand more, but you're going to get more safety features and you're going to get better MPGs as well as the E85 to fill it up. The LT gets a 17-inch wheel. This is going to change as you change. The RS will get the 18-inch black machine alloy wheels. The 2RS will get 19-inch black painted machine alloy wheels. And the roof rails will get the matte black with one other con that comes into play. We have the RC antenna. They still haven't changed it to a shark fin antenna, but I have got some confirmation from different viewers in the comments from the 24 models that they do have an actual aftermarket piece, so it'll make it a little bit more stylish. But it's a longer vehicle. It's a wider vehicle. You're able to fit all your friends and family, and you're getting a lot of standard amenities. When you get the LT, the nice thing about this trim is when you're optioning packages, it's only going to be a few $100s. But then on the con, you could go into the RS and get most of those features standard. We do have the LT convenience package, which adds the heated side view mirrors and their power folding. But when you go up the tier, these features are going to start being standard. The first reason why this is the subcompact SUV to go for is because of the total value. On the con, a lot of people are not happy with that 3-cylinder engine. First, before we talk about the bads, the L1H engine is found not only in the Trailblazer, but also on the Buick Encore. It has a new single-scroll turbocharge with updated collaboration, new stiffer forged steel crankshaft, revised PCV tube. The hardware, it's improved. Now the problem, to make it short and sweet, the timing belt, it is a rubber belt. But then you're getting Chevy Safety Assist Standard, which has more safety features than most of the competition. The rear keeps that sporty look, and you get the gloss black elements underneath the tail lights. The lower gets the satin aluminum, the bow tie's blacked out because of the package that we have implemented, and the Active will be the most sporty of the Trax, unless you go to the RS2, but even that, it's going to have a unique style to the vehicle, which is nice because it's only a couple grand more than this. And when you're thinking about Honda, Toyota, Subaru, all those vehicles are going to touch bases more towards 30 grand and up to get what you're getting here. So now you're seeing the value for Chevy. Standard manual liftgate going into 25.6 cubic feet of storage. You have a little storage nook here on the side. And underneath the floor gets a spare tire. Very simple to remove the privacy cover. You just pull these little tabs here, and because I'm tall, I'm going to go in the back to fold down the rear seat at a 60-40 split. This is going to maximize the cargo to 54 cubic feet. Six-way manual seat adjustment is standard. 4-way manual seat adjustment for the passenger with the cloth seats. We do have the yellow and the gray mixture. When you go into the active, this will be an 8-way power seat adjustment for the driver. These are heated seats because we have the convenience package, which also adds the wrap and a heated steering wheel. The Trax has plenty of headroom as well as leg room. It is going to be a driver-focused setup. Even though it's not that wide, they really emphasize a lot of space in the interior. We have the yellow that's boasting through the center of the dash and going into the air vents. 4 speakers is standard. The Active gets the 6-speaker layout with an 11-inch touchscreen infotainment. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse, and we get a reverse camera with trajectory that expands out. The only con that I have here is it doesn't cover up the whole screen, as you're noticing. But the single climate control wireless charging pad is going to start on the Active with a 12-volt. You got a couple of USBs and the key fob for the new Trax. Gonna get the satin aluminum around the shifter and another storage area here. This is gonna be sporty. It opens up into a deep storage pocket, just not necessarily so wide. Every trim you can option a moon roof, manual for dimming, and the wrap and the heated steering wheels because of the convenience package, which this wrap and the heated steering wheel comes on the RS1. Multi-function. And the gauge cluster has a digital reader, and the dashboard and door panels, I like how they configure it together. It just makes it look a lot more seamless. It's going to be more sporty. The orange stitchwork comes into play with a medium-sized storage pocket, and you get that pattern right here. Even though it's a small SUV, I can still fit with headroom as well as leg space. There isn't any storage behind either of the 2 seats in the front, but you have a storage bin here with a couple of USB ports. No area to rest your arms, but the floor is flat, so that does make it a little bit easy. The door is going to be stripped of the soft materials here in the orange, as well as the pattern here, and it's going to be about half the size of the storage as the front. Sliding into the center, I don't have any issues with feet space. Butt, leg, and shoulder space is actually really good, as well as headroom. The LT 1.2 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged engine out of the Trax. 137 horsepower, 162 pound-feet of torque. Motivation is in the low 8-second perimeter, which is pretty much spot on with all of the competition. Now, like I was addressing on the exterior, the problem with the belt design that is for the engine, it can make people a little bit scared about the vehicle. Then in the same category, if you go to Subaru, you're getting a CVT transmission, the same thing with Honda. So when you're thinking about, well, I don't know, should I go this way, that way? Every vehicle is gonna have some pros and cons. The part that makes this stand out the most is how much you're getting as a total value, like I was saying on the exterior. As an everyday practical car, you can now use E85 fuel, which makes it even better because now you're going to be paying the less expensive price to fill it up. You don't really hear too much of the exterior sound coming in. We do have 17-inch wheels. It comes with standard active noise cancellation, which when you're thinking about a $20-ish thousand car, that's really good value. Give her a little go. Now with these subcompact SUVs, they're kind of more or less like wagons picked up in my perspective. But what's going to ultimately happen is because you're getting smaller powertrains for these vehicles, you're going to be hitting a higher RPM. It isn't anything to be concerned about because it also cleans out the carbon that would be built up in the engine if you didn't hit those higher RPMs. The seat comfort is good. The cushions are going to be a little bit more sporty when you're in the LT. As you go up the tier, it gets a little bit more soft. And like I was saying on the exterior, once you start optioning features, you may want to consider the RS or even going into the Active. I like that you can get features for it, so you can kind of a la carte it. You don't have to necessarily go up to that trim if you don't want to get a larger wheel. And storage capacity, I mean, it's one of the best in class. It also has full digital readers, taking me to the second reason why this is a subcompact SUV to go to, is you can actually option features in the interior as well as the exterior. You can interchange the wheels, and I like that you can do that with the Active and the RS2, so you can either go 18 or 19-inch wheel on either of the two. And realistically speaking, I'm sure the dealership wouldn't mind changing and upgrading your wheels for you for a few $100 to $1,000. And because it's a small vehicle, getting in and out of lanes isn't an issue. Hard braking, you'll literally fly through the window. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is gonna get about 2-ish lanes. Let's give her a go. Another pro to the vehicle is when you add the convenience package to this base trim, you have the adaptive cruise control, which just makes it a little bit more pleasurable on that long journey. The ground clearance is also really good because you're over 7 inches, and you kind of feel that in the seat the way the design of the vehicle is. The driver focus setup keeps it kind of sleek and sporty, which is cool because in order to get features that are going to, in order to get a vehicle to stand out like this, you will be paying much more than 30 grand. Especially if you go into Subaru, you'd want to get the Wilderness Edition. It's going to lift it up. It's going to make it look a little bit more sporty on the exterior, off-roadsy looking, as well as bringing some of that into the interior. But let's face it, you're getting a savings here. You could take that savings and go on vacation. Going into some cons, the back seat strips out all of the soft materials. There's not a lot of them anyways in the door panel or on the side where you're resting your arms. The seats are comfortable, but then with the manual seat adjustments, you don't get a lot of them on the passenger side, so you kind of sit up higher. And even on the driver's side, you can make the seat sit lower. Don't get me wrong, it's 6-way manual seat adjustment. It's just becomes more comfortable once you get the power seat adjustment because you can unlock 8-way power seats. Also wish that they had a standard wireless charging pad so you don't have to option things like a moonroof. You don't get standard LED taillights. This is a 2025 model. These things should be implemented, especially considering Chevy is going after one of the most affordable SUVs in class, but they're not necessarily unlocking all the potential even going into the LT. And the last reason why this is the way to go for a subcompact SUV is because it is the only vehicle that you can option a 6-speed automatic transmission. They are all CVT transmission unless you go into Mazda, but then price, that's why this is the way to go. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Regal Chevrolet for giving us this 2025 Chevrolet Trax LT for our car review.